Drones lore explained, and this is one of the series that really fucking needs it because I was so fucking confused when I was watching the show, and I made a fucking fool out of myself, not understanding anything. I literally had to get like 8-paragraph long comments on YouTube on the fucking episode, just explaining everything that was going on because I was not able to catch up. Anyway, let's just start it. I cannot start it.
Murder Drones is an amazing story, but it's
Oh, slow down, dude, slow down. No rush, hold on. Why are you in such a fucking hurry? Calm down. My fucking browser is. Hello?
Murder
There you go.
Drones is an amazing story, but it's one that people consistently describe as hard to understand or follow. My name is Deep Cut. Robots call
Oh my
me
god,
Drone Cut,
he has a
and
fucking
today
Murder Drone.
we're
Oh,
gonna
see,
break
that's
down
crazy.
every episode of this limited series for our final Murder Drones
He has a fucking.
video.
Oh, see, that's
Episode
cool.
1 was, in many ways, the darkest episode of Murder Drones, giving us a really bleak world for the characters to
And
live
very
in
fucking
without
edgy.
much
I love
hope
how
for
fucking
things
edgy it
getting
was.
better. The story opened with Uzi explaining how she and the other drones came to live in the bunker on Copper 9.
Importantly, using Comic Sans font.
Some time ago, the drones were brought to Copper 9 in order to do the mining work for the humans, presumably sending the copper back to Earth and other colonies that
Because it's copper. Because the planet is called Copper. Really? Oh my god.
we learn about, after they've either run out of copper on Earth or have decided to preserve the Earth's resources. At some point, however,
So you
the
don't know.
humans accidentally
don't know
blow
for sure.
themselves up, according to Uzi, leading to the drones being free. Without
I remember when I was watching the first episode, that scene fucking got me so. I was really not fucking expecting the fucking planet to blow up in the first 20 seconds.
To the drones being free. Without any connection to what's going on back on Earth, however, the drones believe that the humans became upset to the idea of runaway drone technology, and
Oh, I thought that was like. Oh, I thought that was like just objectively true.
thus sent the
guess they
disassembly
didn't know for
drones
sure.
to destroy them.
I mean, they were convinced they knew for sure, but
At
they
this
not
time,
necessarily
the
were.
disassembly drones of Envy and J needed the oil of other drones in order to cool down and survive. This was a smart plan that would have had the disassemblers wipe out all of the drones on Copper 9 before overheating and dying themselves. However, this
So they didn't even have to. Oh, so they weren't actually sent by people to that planet to. They just did it to survive themselves. Maybe that's why they were like so quick to switch sides then.
This was apparently dropped in later episodes, with there being
Yeah.
no concern about N's need for cooling oil, though Uzi
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Dahl would still apparently require it themselves as their absolute solver began to take over. Uzi explains how they have been safe behind 3 doors since the initial carnage of the invasion, but now she wants to go out and fight the disassemblers herself. While giving this presentation, Uzi makes a joke about them basically waiting for an inciting incident, a common term in different story formulas, such as with the hero's journey that we see in Uzi's PowerPoint on the wall.
Oh, I don't know
The
if that's
hero's
a
journey
reference.
is
Is it a
perhaps the
reference to
most
something?
common formula in the world, making a complete loop
Or
where a
just
character
like. Is the video
first
frozen or is the fucking frame
questions
frozen?
where the-
Or is it just like a fucking media
That's the
cliche?
most common formula in the world. Making a complete loop where a character first
Yeah,
questions
yeah,
where
okay.
they are, goes out into the world to face its challenges, and ultimately returns successful to where they started
I hope the video isn't
with a
actually
deeper
frozen.
appreciation for what they had there. This was,
Okay.
of course, an important part of the final episode of the series, which ended with Uzi giving a similar presentation in class about everything that had happened in the show, and how she's come to not hate the bunker that they live in now that she's been able to explore the world outside.
And also because fucking N is inside. Like, come on, we all know that. The reason for that is because not everyone hates it inside now.
But first, the journey
As it
there
was before.
really traumatic. Uzi went into the world telling her father that she was doing a report on the doors that he had built, something she actually hates because she sees them as stopping her from seeing the outside
Oh my god, she's literally fucking Eren Yeager.
world.
She's literally
Outside,
fucking
however,
Eren.
there are only murderous fallen angel robots that want to eat her oil. Uzi, interestingly, had developed an ability to fight back, thanks to watching some anime and developing her cool laser gun. Drones aren't pre-programmed with everything they need to know about their jobs, and instead are something of a blank slate when they are first booted up that has to watch other people work in order to understand what they need to do.
Okay, hold on. I wanna know. Does this guy like do other shit? Because like I wanna know if he uses his murder drones OC on other videos too. Hold on. A small detour. I just wanna know. Husband hotel video? Come on. I just wanna
What's up,
see.
everybody?
I just wanna see. Okay, no. He does a different one for based on what he's talking about. Okay.
This
That's
is
even
so
more
that
impressive.
drones can be trained to do very specific tasks, but it seems to take some time. When first booted up, drones appear as a training neural network, which have no arms or legs because they need to focus on observing before they can be functional or helpful as a worker drone. With that in mind, Uzi watching a lot of anime has led to her having the ability to do the crazy action and stunts that are seen in the shows. Just like a drone observing workers, Uzi observing
Remember, always
anime
pirate
has led
anime.
to her
Always.
calculating how to pull off those
If you pay, leave now.
same feats with her own machinery. With these skills and her weapon, she is able to injure N, who ends up not being able to see who Uzi is and mistakes her for a fellow disassembly drone. Uzi uses this time to try
Which in hindsight is like so fucking weird because like how often do you actually like meet a different disassembly drone? Like how often does it happen? And on this fucking planet specifically.
learn about the disassembly drones themselves and convince N that they can rebel against the humans who supposedly sent them. It raised the concern with the disassembly drones that the humans aren't going to be good to the team once they complete their mission, and that they were really sent there to just die after completing their mission to kill. Uzi ends up making it back to her base, but when N realizes that she is a worker drone, he goes after her. This leads to the dramatic moment where Uzi's father Khan is too scared to help Uzi when
The
N
one fucking scene that just fucking ruined this character. Like, I feel like Glitch lost about 10% of profits because people are just not gonna buy the fucking Khan plush because of that one scene.
has her against the wall, and he simply abandons her. This was the darkest moment in the show in my opinion, far darker than Uzi's transformation or any of the other horror-themed scenes.
You know, Ozzy's transformation was just edgy. It
This
wasn't really
scene
dark.
showed a man abandoning his daughter, leaving her to die because he didn't know how to save her. He is given the option to use Uzi's gun, but he can't bring himself to do it. This was so devastating, even the disassembly drone N couldn't handle it, and he ends up switching sides to work with Uzi. The episode ended with
Imagine fucking up this fucking badly as a parent. Imagine that the fucking killer himself was like, damn, that fucking sucks. You okay? I kind of feel bad now. Do you need help? Do you need someone to talk to?
the defeat of the bad drones, with the bully Jay getting her head blown off, but Uzi can't forgive her father and chooses to stay out in the wasteland of Copper 9 with N to try and figure out what to do with the little piece she has managed to negotiate. Already, however, there is the hint of a greater threat, with Uzi getting a sudden glitch, later understood to be the Absolute Solver, suddenly activating after destroying Jay. This would lead to episode...
Oh, wait. Was it because the Solver lost the host in J? Because the second J is just a clone, right? It's not the same J. So like if it like occupies like physical space instead of just like personality alone, then yeah, that makes sense. That even if you get cloned, you don't have a Dissolver in you anymore.
Episode 2, Heartbeat. Now, each episode of Murder Drones has a very distinct and isolated feel, each borrowing from different horror subgenres and films. Episode 2 takes us from the more generic opening of the show in the first episode to one that is a bit more like the famous film The Thing. Here, we have characters being slowly
That's a thing!
picked off by a mechanical monstrosity that is making itself bigger and more complex with each drone it can kill and assimilate. The episode first opens with N having a flash of his life before becoming a disassembler, being just another drone in some lavish mansion.
I wanna know
back
more
on
about
Earth,
that, though.
with the shadowy humans watching
I wanna know exactly how that fucking happened.
over them. Here we see V in particular is very different than she is on Copper
Like I wanna
9.
see like
She acts a lot
the
more
process
like
of
the
the
bully
operation
Jay.
itself.
Here she is softer and even shy seeming, and drawing the affections of N. Here we also get our first glimpse of Tessa, who has returned with another drone from the dump named Sin. This was our introduction to Sin, not quite realizing what she really was at this point. Just a cryptic figure who seemed so innocent she couldn't possibly be the one behind everything that was going to happen. After this flashback, we return to the present where V is chained up and acting unhinged, as Uzi deals with the strange new glitches that she is
No, I feel like she's acting normal. I feel like she's acting normal.
experiencing. It's here that V lays down the groundwork for the idea that the story Uzi told in the pilot isn't exactly true.
To be
as the
fair, yeah, I
drones
guess
only assume that the humans blew themselves up.
Hold on. The fucking spacebar pause is so fucking delayed. Unpausing is like instant, but like pausing takes 5 fucking seconds. I guess V was like mellowed down because like when we see V in the flashbacks, she's really fucking crazy. And like this scene, I guess, is like the only scene where we see the old V rather than the one that we get now. Because in the flashbacks, she's actually crazy.
V lays down the groundwork for the idea that the story Uzi told in the pilot isn't exactly true, as the drones only assume that the humans blew themselves up when it's possible that the drones did it to them instead. Back in the bunker, we see what we will later learn is the Absolute Solver projecting images to lure drones into traps and make bigger and bigger monstrosities while trying to reconstruct Jay. While that is happening, we get glimpses into the lives
Which I don't understand what is the point if they can just fucking clone her again.
of characters like Uzi.
Unless the solver didn't know that it can take over Uzi just yet. So like it was like, fix old Jay or just give up completely. But only after it realized that Uzi can be the next host, then Sin went for, solver controlling Sin, went for the clone. I'm just guessing though.
Uzi's father Khan, who is having mixed feelings about what happened with Uzi and how her teacher is talking about her. We also get to see a bit more of Lizzie and, more importantly, a dramatic look into the life of Doll. Here, Doll explains that her parents were killed in front of her after being asked by Lizzie where they were. Lizzie reveals that she was well aware that her parents were dead, but that asking about where they were is part of the joke. Guys, Lizzie is savage, but she's also unfortunately...
I just fucking now realized that the person behind the door is fucking Lizzie too. Like, Lizzie is looking at Lizzie and being like, wow, she looks gorgeous. I'm only now fucking noticing this.
Is part of the joke. Guys, Lizzie is savage, but she's also unfortunately dumb and vain, and because of that, after calling Doll an idiot, she is almost lured into the Absolute Solver's trap when she sees a projection of herself in the hallway. Lizzie is in love with herself, wants to let her in and see why she has this cool duplicate suddenly, but is ironically saved by Doll here, who uses her Absolute Solver, showing the audience that she has it too. Uzi and the gang,
I feel like those two saw it though.
Is ironically saved by Doll
I feel like
here,
when she fucking crashes the door,
the audience that she has.
I feel like those two saw it. Oh, hold on, there you go. See, I feel like those two saw it.
Uzi and the gang, meanwhile, end up coming upon
the
Absolute Solver in the strange writings about it on the wall, where Uzi deduces that the Absolute Solver is a backup program that is reconstructing the disassembly drones and somehow
the fucking pause is so fucking slow. I paused literally when I fucking gasped. I was gonna say, I wonder how much did humans knew about the solver, but I guess no, because I guess they have to have made it themselves, right? Otherwise, where did it come from?
The Absolute Solver reveals that this infection happened to Uzi not back in episode 1, but back when she was just an infant neural network, a drone baby. This gives Uzi the
Never mind then. Then I have no fucking idea why they just fucking clone Jay instantly.
That they are all just
and bother with fucking repairs.
Absolute Solver pulling the strings, guiding them into the situations that will be most beneficial to the Solver in the end.
This looks so fucking cool.
They defeat the Solver, even destroying its heart, but the black bubble that remains escaped, indicating that the Solver from Jay was still not entirely defeated. From all these horrifying revelations, Uzi becomes afraid of N, making them end the episode with Uzi going back to the bunker where she came and leaving N with V. After this, Uzi ends up meeting her dad and even hugs him, something he accepts, but something that is very complex for Uzi after she'd been abandoned by her dad in the previous episode.
Seemingly also for him though.
Forgiveness, but it's Uzi wanting her dad in her life to some degree, which will come back to haunt her in episode
3. At that point, like,
at
that point she felt like she had nobody else, so... Because, like, she was just, she just gave up on N, so, like, I guess it makes sense, because she was always alone, right? But with N, she got, like, the taste of having someone to rely on, and then she lost it, so she was like, yeah, I guess that is the only person left, even if he's a shitty person.
The episode ended, however, we got the revelation from Doll that her real goal is V. After saving Lizzie from the Jay Solver's hologram, we see at the very end of the episode Doll sitting in the classroom alone, fixating on a photo she has of what appears to be V, who will later be confirmed to have eaten Doll's parents, perfectly leading us into episode 3. Episode 3, The Promining. Episode 3 is called The Promining and is based on horror films like Carrie, which ends with a giant massacre at the high school dance. The episode opens with the revelation that several high school drones have gone missing, and that they are being killed off by none other than Doll. Uzi, meanwhile, is hating being in school again, but
hold on. No, hold on.
Like Carrie, which is Promining. Episode 3 is
I
called
kinda
The
zoned out.
Prom and
What the fuck was her
and is
motivation?
based on horror films like Carrie, which ends with a giant massacre at the high school dance. The
Mm-hmm.
episode opens with the revelation that several high school drones have gone missing, and that they are being killed off by none other than Doll. Uzi,
No, I didn't miss it. It's just not fucking mentioned.
meanwhile, is hating being in
Why
school
though?
again, but
Why
suddenly
though?
realizes that the missing girls might relate to her disassembly drone conspiracy board. Uzi tries to add their
Unless that's not actually true. Unless it's like speculation.
posters to her conspiracy board, only to realize that her father
by
has
the
taken
characters.
it and put it with the crazy writings of Uzi's mother, Nori. Stuff that we won't get to see until the next episode. Khan doesn't want Uzi to end up going crazy like her mother seemed to, and pushes her to continue having a normal teenage life, including going to prom with Lizzie and Doll. Uzi manages to escape Doll's home, where things are grossly out of place, and even ends up finding N, and the two reunite before going to the prom, which is being crashed by V. V's plan was to pretend to befriend Lizzie, and then kill all of her classmates at the prom when Lizzie lets her in. V is legitimately surprised by the praise from the crowd, however, and convinces herself that
There we go. I was so fucking confused about it because she was like, she came in there like so fucking ready to kill everyone, and like she switched up so easily.
even if
Okay.
just long enough to enjoy their praise, though she seems unsure of her real feelings, and it's the first clue that she could turn her back on her programming to be friends with
Fuck, you mean dyslexic cat? What do you mean?
Lizzie and the class. Doll was apparently aware of this entire plan, and she allowed it to happen so she could kill V herself at the prom, and even ends up killing a bunch of her classmates along the way.
Oh.
And Uzi end up stopping her from killing V in an attempt to create peace.
Yeah, I
between the
guess.
drones, but
Okay, so I
Doll
guess she
just
just
ends
fucking
up
is like that.
escaping. After the
There is no
prom,
further
the gang goes
explanation.
to search her home, where V admits that she was the one who ate Doll's parents and that she enjoyed it. Here, Doll tries to attack Uzi, who is rescued by her absolute solver. This turns out to be an ultimate good with Doll, who suddenly goes from trying to kill Uzi to wanting to share a cure for the absolute solver with her, insisting that Uzi's absolute solver is worse than hers. This ends with Doll continuing on her own path in a sort of
There's like I didn't know there could be like levels to that. Like how much you have how much of the solver you have.
We get glimpses
Or
of
it's just like, you know, binary, you have it or you don't.
through her, on a quest for the same information that Uzi and her friends are after, but in the shadows. Episode 4, Cabin Fever. Episode 4 was called Cabin Fever and is based on the cabin in the woods genre, including the film called Cabin Fever itself.
How many fucking references are there to like small fucking movies or whatever, TV shows, I don't know, those are. Because I have never heard of a single one that was mentioned so far.
The episode opened with Uzi talking to her father about the collapse of the Copper 9 core, as Uzi begins to examine the similarities
The core of the
between her
planet.
and Doll's life
Okay.
that might have led to them both having the absolute solver. Through photos, she realizes that both she and Doll inherited strange skull collars from their mothers. Inside of the closet that Khan was hiding Nori's kooky writings, we see a photo of the two mothers as well as the fathers and other drones at a
She was
special
not crazy
cabin
after all.
just after the explosion of
You don't know the cabin in the woods? I've never heard about that before. No, I don't know that.
Copper 9. To get there, Uzi ends up having to orchestrate a field trip with her class outside of the bunker, guided by N and V, who are trying to maintain the friendship with the worker drones established in the previous episode. Because of that, Uzi feels isolated in this episode because of how busy N is with the other drones, though by the end of it, he will show that
I know N was doing it just because, you know, he's N. I wonder if V was still like plotting to like kill. I mean, she did kinda in the very same episode. She did kill one fucking guy, but I wonder how much of it was like from her perspective, befriending the murder drones and like establishing herself in like that community, and how much of it was actually just manipulation.
there's crazy writings. These writings predicted the coming of the eventual disassembly drones, as well as the absolute solver-looking abomination monsters, and something that Nori referred to as the Singularity Event. While in the cabin, she also finds a remote worker bug, which acts as a digital guide and key for human workers at the cabin, at least before the explosion of Copper 9 killed them all. Here, we see a glimpse of Doll's story as she watches Uzi pick up the bug, with Doll having wanted it for herself. Uzi, meanwhile, begins to have her
That's like
shift into
out of context. That's like
and as Doll
such a fucking weird thing fuck. What is wrong with my fucking dictionary today? To like be envious of. No, I wanted that bug. Hello, play.
All suggested from the previous episode, her transformation is much more terrifying, being very physical. Uzi becomes a literal monster in this episode, growing demonic wings, and she somehow turns flying arrows into masses of organic
It was
tentacles.
so fucking confusing when they fucking did that, just after introducing the concept of zombie drones, because for so fucking long I thought that Uzi just became a fucking zombie drone. I mean, I think she did become a zombie drone, but not for the right reason I was thinking about.
Like matter. She begins attacking and picking off the other drones because of this transformation, and is only stopped in the end thanks to the disassembly drones like N. And of course, ends
That
up
was such a
calming
fucking
down
cute scene.
Uzi, and she's able to get on the bus with everyone to return home. But the effects of the transformation are still shown to be there, with Uzi overheating quickly in the light. Another
That's what it
great part of this
is.
episode is the little interactions between Lizzie and V, where they butt heads a little, but it's clear that the two are getting closer, and Lizzie in particular is trying to appeal to V, it seems. Episode 5.
Which is so interesting.
Episode 5.
Fucking pause. What's going on with the fucking video player? Which is interesting that the way she was trying to like get close to V was by like being a fucking kind of tsundere.
I focus primarily on a sort of interactive flashback of N and V's time back on Earth, working in the mansion for the humans. In the episode, we would learn that N and V's memories were being remotely deleted, with Uzi trying to go into the memories herself in order to save them. This leads to the three of them all realizing what N and V had been through on Earth, but because they are digital memories, they become a bit interactive, with Uzi being able to enter them herself. This episode...
Which, like, I also wonder how much of it could be could turn non-canon because of like butterfly effect, because of Uzi being there. Like, she could change the smallest thing and just completely derail the plot of the memory.
Episode was important for introducing us to Sin as a character, where we can see that she is a broken drone that acts as if she's a step behind everyone else. However, by the end of
I
the
feel like she is, though. I feel like she
episode, we
is,
will learn
though.
that this isn't actually Sin, but the Absolute Solver, something hinted at the very opening moments of the episode. Before jumping into the memories of the characters, the episode starts with a segment from the Zombie Drones training tape that N had discovered at the camp in the previous episode. Here, it is explained that the proper disposal of drones is necessary to prevent unwanted boot-ups, which includes needing to disconnect the core where the Absolute Solver operates. Immediately after seeing this tape, we're taken to a scene where we see one drone in a pile of many, where on her arm it clearly indicates
Sin.
that she is
Yeah,
CYN.
and I think also N has like the armband, and the armband has Sin on it.
Or Sin. When Sin boots up, it's hard to read, but her screen has text for a split second that indicates that she needs help, and the Absolute Solver is offering to help, but needs Sin to relinquish control of her body by using a yes or no option. Following this, we cut to the memories of N and V
Yeah, she
and
made-
their time
she made a
at
deal with the
mansion,
devil.
at a point where Sin has already been brought
Pre-Solver
back
Sin.
from the dump by Tessa, and at a point where she seems to be pretty well integrated into life there. She is not quite functional the way N, J, or V, or any of the other service drones are, but she is allowed to move around the house when she is not being punished in the basement.
I will remember you yelling at me for immediately knowing that Tess had a 1851 Navy revolver. Listen, Polar, I'll derail this out a bit to show you something. Hold on. There we go. It's a revolver. I don't know. Shut up, gun nerds. You see this? You see this? You see this, Polar? You got fucking called out. You got fucking called out by the fucking show itself.
In addition to Sin, we also learned a lot about Tessa here, who is different from the other humans, and that she actually cares about the drones as a whole. This is largely due to her being rejected by the other humans herself, being treated like a burden of a child
They
instead
can't
of a
tell me
member
what
of
to
the
do.
family. The drones operate on a level that Tessa is able to deal
Tessa's
with,
just
allowing
autistic.
her to be the leader of her little drone family,
Just like,
instead
Sin.
of the outsider in her very real family. Around the home, we see the worker drones showing a 606 error, related to the worker drone 606 software that we saw in the worker drone disposal tape.
Ah.
This doesn't appear to be literal, but rather it's part of the
Oh.
cryptic foreshadowing we see in these memories that indicate that everything isn't what it seems, that what we're seeing is from the limited perspective of characters like N, who imagine the other drones just working, and not quite noticing what's not right with how Sin has been changing things. The drones as a whole are treated as worse than servants, but more like burdens who need to be abused in order to properly train them, to remove the parts
Which is
of
like
them that are
interesting
making
because
the human
isn't fucking Tessa bringing those drones? So like, why are all the other humans capitalizing on it and at the same time fucking destroying them? And then also complaining whenever Tessa brings more drones. Like, you're literally fucking capitalizing on the fact that she's bringing them.
humans' lives so difficult. Sin
And you're
at
even
some
insulting
point
Tessa
tries
for
to
it.
stand up to this, but it just leads to N being tied up outside and Sin being thrown into the basement, where she already spends a lot of her time. Outside, N meets Uzi, who has taken the form of a crow. She informs him, and
Dark
thus
Exo
the audience,
17.
that these are just memories, and helps him escape so they can get back into the mansion and into the basement. In the basement, we learn that Sin has been spending a lot of time experimenting on drones, creating monstrosities, and even changing her own hardware to become a monster herself.
Wait, so did Sin create more drones then?
One that is able to massacre all the humans at the fancy dinner party. It was here that she would also change J, V, and N into the disassembly drone monsters who can be seen to share Earth in one of N's memories.
So there is literally only 3 murder drones in the whole fucking world. That makes it even more interesting. Why the fuck did N I think that Uzi is a murder drone? It was like kind of obvious that actually, okay, you know what? It's N though. As far as I know, Tessa just has VN and Sin, which she either got from the staff drones or the scrap. No. She got them from the dump because one of the humans says that Tessa came back from dumpster diving and she brought more fucking dump pads or something like that. She said something like this. The main staff drones just belong to the estate. Oh, okay. Okay, and Tessa is like bringing the broken ones. Okay.
In a later episode. We would also see the depth of care that N had for V in this earlier time, where even when faced with his own destruction, he can't help but put V's glasses on her so she can properly see when carrying out the Solver's orders. In the end, Uzi is able to save them from being deleted in their memories.
And this is like fucking N does this twice. N fucking does this twice. The second time is with Alice's baby. I don't know the fucking baby's name, but yeah.
It ends with the gang crossing paths
Hi, Kitten.
with Tessa, who has seemingly come to Copper 9 in a spacesuit. During this episode, we also got more of the Doll story, with Uzi's adventure in N's memories being suddenly interrupted by Doll.
I wonder how many humans are there though in the world left. Because like I know Earth was deleted, but there's no way every single human was on Earth at that time. And clearly, other planets, like humans learn to make other planets self-sustainable, like Copper 9, because like there's cities on Copper 9, etc. So like they clearly could operate without needing Earth to exist. Estates get drones, people kill them because of Soviet. Yeah. No, I get that much. I was just wondering if like all of them are what Tessa brought.
Uzi's father had hilariously just let Doll in, and she ended up in battle with Uzi trying to get the bug remote that she was after in the previous episode. This seemed like the best time to grab it, but Doll walked away feeling worse about herself, realizing that Uzi was willing to give up her own chance at a cure in order to help N and V, two people who were responsible for so much of the pain in Uzi's life. With this remote, Doll was hoping to negotiate help from Tessa, including a ride off of the planet. However, this isn't how the story goes when everyone ends up crossing paths at the end of the episode.
And the fucking episode ends. It was so fucking evil.
Episode 6, Dead End. After meeting
I cannot fucking imagine watching this episode when it first came out. That must have been so fucking annoying. That is how the fucking episode ended.
Tessa and Jay at the end of the previous episode, everyone except Doll decides to team up and get to the basement that this bug remote is the key to. This basement is a secret lab that Tessa claims she wants to burn down because Sin is trying to get there. But already we start to see clues that this isn't really Tessa. She is shown as being bossy in such a way that even Jay doesn't recognize as Tessa-like behavior when she tells Jay to go guard her ship. Tessa seems to be purposely trying to make Uzi uncomfortable early on as well, and we see Uzi question if Tessa is really the one underneath that helmet when she looks into her
And we constantly see the fucking murder drones eye being reflected off her visor. Constantly.
reflection on it, reminding us that anyone could be
This is literally how I clocked it.
underneath that suit. Uzi continues into the basement area with Tessa and the drones, but they
This is
all
how I
end up being
predicted that
captured by a
she's not a
rogue worker
human.
drone named Alice. Alice explains that she's been at this camp since the time before the explosion, where she was one of the numbered workers like Nori and Eva. She even describes Uzi's mother Nori, or number 02, as having left her and the others there to die after the explosion. Since then, she's managed to capture any Absolute Solver infected drones from the experiments that had been going on there, and put their cores inside of heated ovens so that they become sluggish and can't carry out Sin's plans.
Wait, what?
Infected drones from the experiments. Since then, she's managed to capture any Absolute Solver infected drones from the experiments that had been going on there, and put their cores inside of heated ovens so that
I wish I could see the names better.
And can't carry out Sin's plans. Alice sees Uzi as no different than an Absolute Solver infected drone, and refers to her as a witch, her term for drones who have Absolute Solver powers.
Okay.
Her solution for this
Alice doesn't have a solver, right?
Giant magnet on the head of the drone, which disrupts the flow of the powers around the drone, making its powers practically useless. Tessa and N managed to escape from the baby drone named Bo that had been modified to be an assistant to Alice.
There we go.
Once free, Tessa reveals to N that the Earth has actually been destroyed by Sin, as well as other colonies of humans around in space, leaving Tessa as the only human left in existence. Though of course we now know that this wasn't entirely the truth. While the Earth and other human colonies were seemingly actually wiped out, we would later learn that this isn't really Tessa at all, but that revealing the destruction of the Earth was just part of Sin's plan to help convince N that this really was Tessa. By giving N the truth of what Sin had done, it would hopefully make N want to side with Tessa against Uzi, who
she was self-reporting so much.
slowly coming under control of the Absolute Solver. This would play right into the real Solver's plans, however, which is largely to wipe out anyone that could be a threat to her so that she can have N all to herself. As
same mood.
Tessa, Sin would become the person that she believed was most important to N, but this entire episode
everyone else.
becomes about how desperate the Absolute Solver is.
I think this is the scene where I clocked it that Tessa is not a human.
To convince N that Uzi cannot be saved, only to realize that Uzi has become more important to N than Tessa.
Yeah.
After her Absolute Solver takes control and helps her defeat Alice, Uzi ends up making it to the elevator with
the best.
N and the others, where they fall into a trap set by Doll. Doll has left herself out with an error message playing on her screen, giving the indication that she was hit by one of these Sentinel drones.
It's just a fucking gif.
Areas. Lured in by the false sense of security, however, Doll reveals that she has hidden a bunch of these Sentinels in various rooms in the hallway, allowing her to sabotage everyone else and leave them to be boot-looped while she goes on to find a cure in the basement. Tessa tries to ward off the Sentinels by showing off some of her human blood, but this doesn't actually stop the Sentinels. Once again,
because they kinda know.
Blood, this isn't really Tessa in the suit. Instead, V ends up sacrificing herself so that the others can get to the basement, with the last shot we see of her being the Sentinels coming in for the kill. Episode 7 is called Mass Destruction, and as the title suggests, it ends with the mass destruction of Copper 9 as we previously knew it. To start, however, we get the first in a series of flashbacks explaining what actually went on in the basement below the Copper 9 camp. Deep in the past, we see that this was once a secret operation by the humans.
So this was Copper 9, okay. I was wondering if this was like on Earth or if this was like a different planet.
The Absolute Solver from destroying their colony.
I guess it makes sense because there is a fucking pit in the fucking
Earth
church.
And the other human colonies had already been destroyed by the Absolute Solver. And it
in
was
hindsight, that
that
makes
finding
sense.
a way to infect drones with this in order to devise a cure would be the only way to stop her. This led to the creation of the cross-shaped USB patch file, which allows for a drone
It's so fucking
to use their
stupid.
Absolute Solver powers, but without the Absolute Solver's control over them, writing the Worker Drone OS to the core over the Absolute Solver itself. During these experiments, however, the Absolute Solver tried to gain control over drones like Nori and Eva, explaining how they were able to pass the Absolute Solver onto their daughters. This flashback fades to the present, where we see the scene as being watched by a worker drone core being piloted by Uzi's mother Nori. Since she's been written onto the core of her worker
Being
drone...
piloted? Oh, so it's not her heart. Is this someone else's heart that she's... Because he said, that it's being piloted by Nori. I like to listening to the lore videos, especially when it's purposefully like vague to interpretation. I don't think much in Murder Drones is left to interpretation, though. I feel like a lot of it is her heart. Okay. then I don't know why he said it like that. I don't think much in Murder Drones is left to interpretation. I think it's like, all of it is meant to be solved. At least like Five Nights at Freddy's style, you know?
Hardware, that means she has control over the core even when it's removed from her body, something usually only the Absolute Solver has control over. From here, episode 7 is an epic setup for episode 8, which is a quick rush to the actual end of the story. Episode 7 is in many ways the climax, the lowest point where Uzi turns things around to save the day. In this lowest moment, she isn't sure who to trust with Tessa now in their lives, and she ends up separated from En and the others. While separated, En learns that Tessa isn't really Tessa at all, and instead is clearly Sin pulling his strings again. To prove this, we see a flashback of Earth, where En is a disassembly drone helping to wipe out humanity.
Usually the thing in the heart is the solver, but when you use the just USB, it writes you onto there instead. Huh. How the fuck do you know so much? How the fuck do you know so much?
As Tessa, Sin finds the files in the basement indicating which drones have the Absolute Solver.
Jesus, USB, oh.
After which she conveniently finds Doll as well. Sin easily destroys Doll, creating an end to her story, with her last act being to warn Uzi to fight back. Uzi ends up in a battle with Sin, but is interrupted by En and her mother Nori.
This is my fucking favorite scene in, like, the entire fucking Murder Drones. Do you know what's it called? Yes or no? One chance. And it was a one chance. Oh, this is my fucking favorite scene in the entire fucking show.
Uzi to have her fight against En. After Uzi ends up getting control of her body back, however, we see that Sin still isn't defeated, even though she was decapitated as Tessa.
Yeah.
It's revealed here that she was just wearing Tessa as a flesh suit, with the hopes of
fucking
tricking En into thinking that he loved her, and Sentinels into not attacking her. However, after seeming to get away from Sin, Uzi and En find themselves being pulled into the mysterious pit that the Solver created long ago when controlling Nori. Uzi, wanting to save En, tries to make it so that she can sacrifice herself while he gets away, leading to a catastrophic event that nearly destroys Copper 9. Episode 8, Absolute End. The finale picks up where Episode 7 left off, with us seeing the fallout of Uzi's choice to fall into the pit. This causes a mass destruction event where Copper 9 begins to fall apart. Uzi has managed to survive, with most characters being safe away from the damage, or just floating in space, such as Uzi and her mother Nori. Out in space, they cannot talk, but through text and scratching on rocks, Nori explains that the only way to defeat Sin and stop all of this would be to destroy Sin's heart, which contains the original Absolute Solver. Uzi is afraid she will lose control of herself, but Nori insists that it's a matter of will, and as long as Uzi isn't a little bitty, she will hold Sin off. Uzi only inherited part of the Absolute Solver patch, which made her more susceptible to the Absolute Solver's control than Doll. However, she is contented with Sin for control over her body, and Nori essentially believes that it's possible for Uzi to maintain control even while using her powers. As a program and a robot, this makes sense, as the more experience she has fighting off Sin, the better she can become at it, creating her own programming internally to essentially prevent a total takeover.
Okay.
After learning this from her mother, Uzi is then saved by En in his ship.
This is crazy because, like, everything is being explained to me, and I'm still having troubles. Like, it just fucking goes to show how fucking difficult, or I'm just fucking stupid, you know? I'm just fucking stupid.
Feelings to each other as
I'm just fucking media illiterate.
To the planet in flames, ready to fight Sin. This battle was rather epic in scope and had a lot of fun twists and turns in the action itself, but emotionally, it relied on the fact that the characters had been reunited and reaffirmed their feelings thanks to the previous episode. While Uzi could have easily lost this battle, it would seem, the victory came essentially as an accident where she grabs onto the heart of Sin. However, just trying to destroy the heart wasn't enough, as even in its black hole state that Uzi crushes it to, it still has the Absolute Solver's influence. This allows the black hole to extend its range to include Sin's drone corpse again, which would allow this corpse to eat the black hole heart and become Sin again. This control
no, hold on. But Sin already is Sin. What do you mean becomes Sin again? Is Sin, like, completely gone? Like, mentally? Since, like, you know, since the if you get possessed by the fucking Solver, are you, like, basically dead, or can you, like, still observe what's going on?
over this black hole seems to be how the Absolute Solver escaped with
Or is it
Jade
just basically death for you?
past. And it made sense to Uzi here that the only way to really get rid of the Absolute Solver forever with this would be to eat the Absolute Solver herself. By absorbing the Absolute Solver into her after she had learned how to control her body and resist the Solver, Uzi is able to create a prison for her. This was essentially what Sin feared would happen, and why she had tried to stay so far away from the battle and hide behind disguises, because any drone who is patched that could resist her could become her eternal prison simply by devouring her heart. In the scenes that follow, however,
And Nori said that it's a matter of okay, and
Sin
that's a matter of
expresses
will.
being more or less happy inside of Uzi, existing as a merged personality
So Uzi is literally just fucking looked in.
that can sometimes show independence by retreating into Uzi's tail. In this new life, Uzi and Sin live as one entity, getting to watch anime and draw manga with N, hang out with Lizzie and V, who are the new queens of the school, and even hang out with Khan and Nori, who are hanging out again.
Oh shit!
It was a happy ending for most of the characters, though Doll was shown to still
I didn't
be
know that.
dead.
I was wondering if like Khan and Nori are like talking again. Oh, that's so fucking
And
good
Jade
to
was
know.
shown to have no real connection to the others, since she decided that it was best to side with the Solver. Following a climactic battle where V tries to convince her to return to the side of good, the only thing she has left is to try and fix up the spaceship so she can leave Copper 9 and the drones behind. Uzi and N are still set to appear in animated
fuck?
comedy bits for Glitch and the Glitch Inn, but the actual story of Murder Drones reached its natural conclusion here, with everyone basically getting to live happily ever after. For most fans, this was the perfect way to end this rather short story.
I don't care. I still want
This
season 2.
8-episode epic that managed
I
to
don't
draw
care.
in an
I don't care.
audience
It's
of
concluded. I
millions
still want
over
season
the
2.
course of a few years.
I still want to see expanded on how Uzi lives with the Solver in like the symbiotic relationship, and I want to know more what happened to fucking humans, because there is no way every fucking human is dead.
It felt like something was a bit missing. Certain explanations on the nature of the Absolute Solver and what its bigger goals were after wiping out humans and drones. For more theories on that, however, I included a playlist of all of our Murder Drones theories down below, including a mega video where we go deep into the real-life lore that inspired the show. And while this is our last video here on Cartoon Universe for Murder Drones, at least until something new might pop up, be sure to go check out the video I'm putting out over on my other channel, Random.
I wish to be as fucking informed of this fucking show as much as this guy, because I love this franchise so much. At some point, I wanna read the entire fucking fandom wiki of this show. I wanna know fucking everything. I wanna know everything. So I wish that I get to this point as well, as much as this guy explaining it.